Now moving on to osmosis and its importance. So point number one is that it's involved in absorption of water from the soil. Plant roots have specialized cells called root hair cells whose function is to absorb water and mineral salts. But because we are focusing on the role of osmosis, we are just going to mention water. So the root hair cells of a plant absorb water from the surrounding soil by osmosis. Another is that osmosis is also involved in providing support in plants, specifically in seedlings and herbaceous plants. Now, when the cells take in water by osmosis, they become very firm and rigid and therefore can offer support to plants. And this is the reason why you'll find that when you have herbaceous plants, for example, such as tomatoes, on absorption of water, they become firm. They have stems that are firm and so on. But immediately they lose water, they wilt. So such plants tend to rely on osmosis for support. Another is that osmosis is involved in opening and closing of stomata. So stomata are openings that are found on the surface of the leaf. These openings are important because they allow gaseous exchange to take place. So when they are open, gases can diffuse in and out of the leaf. Now, the opening and closing of the stomata is controlled by specialized cells called guard cells. Now, these guard cells have chloroplasts, and chloroplasts are organelles that carry out photosynthesis. So, guard cells carry out photosynthesis and in the process produce sugars. So, these sugars accumulate within the guard cell. It reaches a point whereby the guard cells have a higher concentration of solutes compared to the surrounding epidermal cells. Yani, they become hypertonic to the surrounding epidermal cells. So what happens if you have two cells where one is hypertonic and the other is hypotonic? Simple. Osmosis takes place. So the guard cells absorb water by osmosis. So they swell, become turgid, and pull away from one another, causing the stomach to open up. So this is the reason why during the day, the stomata tend to be open. At night, guard cells cannot carry out photosynthesis because there's no light. So what happens is that their concentration of solutes goes down. So they now become hypotonic to the surrounding epidermal cells. So water molecules move out of the guard cells and into the surrounding cells by osmosis. On losing water, the guard cells lose their turgidity, draw close to one another, closing the stomata. And this is the reason why the stomata are closed at night. Now, another importance of osmosis is that it allows insectivorous plants to feed. Now, insectivorous plants are plants that rely on insects as a source of food. Now, the reason for this is because such plants tend to grow in areas that are deficient in nitrogen. And so, in order to supplement their nitrogen intake, they rely on the insects. So what happens is that when an insect lands on the leaf of such plants, it causes a change in the osmotic pressure of the leaf. This change causes the leaves to close, therefore trapping the insect inside, which will then be slowly digested.